Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Is there indeed a labor shortage in the United States of America? This is something that Republican governors and Republican officials all over the country, 22 at the time I'm recording this video, have decided to reject the $300 a week unemployment benefits that were included in the American Rescue Plan. Now, keep in mind that these benefits were scheduled to run out in September anyway. So what the Republican officials are doing is essentially turning away money that the federal government had already approved, which is essentially cutting off money that was earmarked for nearly 2 million out of work Americans. The whole idea, the whole rationale from the Republicans is that because the economy is reopening, because of the vaccine rollout, the stimulus checks, the unemployment benefits could force individuals to essentially stay home, and this would cause a shortage of workers and small businesses that essentially can't compete with larger companies. This is the rationale as far as the Republicans are concerned. So the big question is there indeed a labor shortage? And that's why we decided to create this episode of Ignition Time, the truth about the labor shortage. And the reference for this episode of Ignition Time is this article on your screen that you see published by CNN Politics. Here's the truth about the labor shortage, the analysis by Zachary Wolf from CNN. So let's dig deeper into this. What is exactly going on? Republican governors have actually rejected unemployment benefits, and the truth is that that the situation is not black and white. There are many gray areas to this situation because on the one hand, there are employers who just cannot find workers because they need workers, and it's hard for them to find workers. On the other hand, there are millions of individuals who are remaining unemployed or out of the labor market because the labor force participation rate has decreased. And as of April, America was still down 8.2 million jobs. Yes, you heard that right, 8.2 million jobs compared to February 2020. So what's the bottom line? Millions of individuals still need the unemployment benefits, the $300 a week. Again, this was earmarked to end in September. In fact, research from Bank of America found that these benefits do sometimes discourage individuals to look for work, but only if individuals made less than $32,000 a year, which is less than half the median income across the country. So for these low-income workers, it does make sense not to work because they can continue to collect benefits. But for higher income earners, it makes no sense. But then the big question is, should we only be looking at this situation from an income standpoint? In other words, should we be looking at this situation differently? So should we be looking at which industries have been the hardest hit and how is this affecting the reopening? And the fact is, and I've mentioned this before on our channel, individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality have been impacted the most. But one industry that has been significantly hit has been manufacturing because potential employees are concerned that their jobs could be outsourced or replaced by machines. And also, as far as restaurants are concerned, restaurants are actually starting to add jobs, believe it or not, and restaurants and bars are reopening. In fact, the hospitality sector added 331,000 jobs in the month of April. So restaurants seem to be bouncing back, but there's still a long way to go. The other question is, should companies actually be raising wages? Because there's an argument that workers make less than $32,000 a year because they're underpaid. So that is one rationale, and the truth is that companies can and probably should be paying higher wages, and the fact is that is already happening. What is happening is that many companies have started to raise their minimum wage. In fact, Under Armour announced it will bump its US minimum wage from $10 to $15 an hour. And Amazon, Walmart, Costco, McDonald's, Chipotle have all announced increase in certain wages. In fact, Bank of America went a step further and announced that it would lift its minimum wage from $20 to $25 per hour. The other question is childcare a problem? And the childcare situation is also evolving very, very rapidly. Last year, for example, when schools started again, many women had to drop out of the labor force because of childcare obligations at home. Now that offices are reopening because daycares and schools are not fully back up again, and now it's creating a problem for some parents because one of the parents has to watch the child. And also, here's another important matter. Inflation is starting to make things more and more expensive because we're starting to spend again. And because inflation is increasing and prices are rising, that could be bad news for the recovery. So that is another factor that goes hand in hand with this entire situation of the labor shortage. But in short, the truth about the labor shortage really comes down to two things: the income level, because there are individuals who make less than $32,000 a year who indeed are doing better on unemployment and are therefore less incentivized to go back to work, because the unemployment benefits plus the $300 a week booster actually allows them to make as much money, if not more money, than they made prior to the pandemic. But now the other predicament is that certain industries, like I mentioned, manufacturing, are indeed struggling, and that could in turn lead to an impact on home prices and that could indeed lead to a chain reaction across the economy, and that is the predicament that we are seeing right now. So let us know what you think in the comment section below about the labor shortage. Like I've mentioned, this is a multifaceted situation where there are multiple factors at work. Unfortunately, this is not a simple situation where it's black and white. There are many shades of gray to this situation. But the one interesting thing here is that as the economy is recovering, individuals making more than $32,000 a year are indeed getting back to work. So to say that the $300 a week unemployment benefits is discouraging individuals from going back to work is not accurate. If anything, it is an incomplete picture, potentially even a misleading picture, because a majority of the individuals who are indeed incentivized to stay home are low-wage earners. We are not at a point in our unemployment benefit system where unemployment benefits are specifically targeted only to low-wage earners. Right now, the where we are at in our unemployment system is that unemployment benefits are going to those who qualify, plus the $300 a week booster. But I do foresee an evolution of the system in the future where certain individuals, based on their income levels prior to the pandemic, will qualify for a certain amount of unemployment benefits, which already is the case. But more importantly, some individuals may not even qualify for the federal booster. But then that opens up a new can of worms in terms of why should these individuals not get the federal booster. So this is essentially, it's the first time we are in a situation like this since the implementation of the unemployment benefits system in the 1930s. So there is no perfect answer. But one thing is for sure, and that is that we are in a new stage of recovery in our economy, and the labor shortage is a complex subject with many nuances to it. And hopefully, I've done a good job covering that. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. We work very hard on this channel to bring you the latest news. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would be your vote of confidence for us and all the efforts that go into this channel. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.